welcome back to Happy Hour with DJ Kyle, and we are sitting here with Neal Gist. Neal, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you want to say on the show today?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kyle. And again, congratulations on your new show.
Thank you.
I'm excited to get to be here for one of the first episodes.
Absolutely. At the beginning, right?
Yeah. I wonder how much it's going to change next time we talk.
Yeah, right.
But it's great to be here. I'm a local resident. I consider myself a lake resident because I've lived in different counties around the area. I have a special love for Camden County. And this is where, and Morgan County is where our church is. But anyway, so we're involved here and politically as well. I've got a background in politics, ran for office a couple years ago. And nowadays, I'm a software engineer by trade, but I do spend some free time helping out on campaigns and that sort of stuff.
Nice. So what brought you so much into politics? Like, was that something that at a young age you always had a mindset for that? Or when did that start for you as far as getting into your politics?
Yeah, it started after the 2009 recession, and I was feeling frustrated because I didn't understand what happened, and there's all these talking heads on TV blaming everyone else and saying completely different things, and so there wasn't a lot of knowledge that I observed, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start studying economics till I can understand for myself. And that ended up turning into sort of a passion of mine that blew up into other adjacent areas like politics and history, and really just found that I was passionate about monetary policy of all things and stuff like that. I saw that we were experiencing essentially this plundering of wealth passively through monetary policy, through inflation, through currency debasement and fractional reserve banking. There's all these techniques that different institutions can employ to take money from us without us really having any knowledge or say. And I call that theft.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
fraud
exactly.
So I started getting involved, and I joined a political campaign. Went to Iowa during the primaries in 2012 and 2011, and got my feet wet, and so I guess that was the beginning.
That's really cool, and all of those things kind of run together, and I could really hear the passion of when you hear people tell you what the news is, and nowadays that's just kind of the thing. If you listen to this station, you believe it more on this way, or you listen to this, you believe this because that's what they've told you. But I love the idea of actually getting in and really digging down and finding those policies and reading those policies and seeing the different things that need to be a light shed on them. So I'm so thankful to have you on the show and for you to tell about the things that, if we could just open these, can of worms, if you will, like the political can of worms to, showcase and show everyone what the truth is and what the black and white is. So.
Oh yeah, and they're so coupled together. If the markets aren't free, then we're not free, and I see them just completely interlocked.
Yeah. So what are some things that are going on locally, Camden County, that we need to be aware of or, pay attention to?
Yeah. So Camden County, it's been kind of crazy here. And the Verigy story, the building renovation, this really started 2 years ago. And it's an important event because a lot of stuff happened from here. Newly elected Commissioner James Gohagan goes in to his new job and post some pictures on social media about the state of this new building that they purchased. The former commissioners paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for this building over what the comps suggested it was worth. Not only that, but when James released those photos, we got to see, it's unusable. Not only is it unusable, but it actually might be dangerous. And the commissioners at the time were like, no, this is all, accusing us of whatever, coming against them. But, and now here we are with a $4.6 or $7 million contract that where unknown amounts of that money is having to be poured into this building to make it usable.
Yeah.
And so all of that is, kind of suspicious. But here's what really bothers me, and I haven't really heard anybody talk about this in a while. When we made that purchase, it wasn't a purchase. We made a 20-year lease. The county doesn't own that building. And so not only did we pay somebody hundreds of thousands of dollars more money than they should have been paid, 20 years from now, they're going to get that building back with $1 million of taxpayer-funded upgrades. That's their equity, not the county's.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, so I don't have the skill set to navigate that paper trail to understand exactly who the beneficiaries are here, but if you do, anybody out there, I'm sure the county would like to know, because the whole thing just sort of stinks.
Yeah. So what, like, are there things in plan right now to fix or resolve, or is it just this is how it is and we wipe our hands from it and move on? Like what are people in the county saying? Like, is it a hush hush thing, or you're and that's kind of why we're opening this up, right?
Yeah, well, so with the new commissioners coming in, the new guard, I mean, they inherit these contracts, and I'm not a project manager or contractor like Janie is, so I can't really get into the weeds like she can. But my understanding is that they are trying to correct some of this and force transparency. I'd mentioned unknown amounts of dollars are being poured into this renovation project.
Yeah.
Well, that's deliberate. It's like, why can't we have transparent line items about where our money's being spent, like any other business?
Yeah, exactly.
So again, it's like,
we had to spend this much on the windows and this much on the whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but just a blanket amount is just going into the project.
Yeah, and we're not sure how much, and with the contract that was designed by Vergy in the first place, and on a bid that they were the only ones to provide, so there's something going on there. I'm grateful for the Watchdog and for Jenny and Moppin and Among the Dogwoods, this sort of citizen activist things that we have here in Camden County. I mean, they're clearly a response to the need. There's a lot of fishiness going on, but it's unusual. It's a blessing for Camden County. Most media institutions don't have the resources to go to commissioner meetings and to go to school board meetings, and maybe they'll get to write about that sort of stuff, the popular stuff. But for us to be able to easily figure out what our commissioners are up to, or our auditors doing, that sort of stuff. I recognize, I used to believe that everybody had to be involved politically. It's like, yes, you're responsible, you got to do all this stuff. It's like, well, no, it's not practical. It's like, we all have different callings.
Yeah.
But also I do feel like there are people who want to be informed.
Yes.
And it's just sometimes that information is harder to come by.
Exactly. Yeah, without having to go to, Monday night's meeting or whatever. Right. I love this idea. So this is a monthly report that comes out, right? It's the Watchdog report. Comes out every month, and this is issue number 5. So we're just kind of just getting started on this. I really like in this issue, I was reading this, I like the idea of the contract with citizens. Again, I think that is one of those ways to better break down that wall, that barrier of, these are political things that are happening behind these walls. You don't need to worry about it as a citizen, but as citizens, we do. This is things that are happening to us and in our neighborhood, in our area, and things that we maybe could put our 2 cents in, or at least know what's going on, so we're smarter about it. So I like that idea of the contract with the citizens, and that's something that the commissioners would be more transparent with, or just everyone in the Camden County realm would just be more transparent. How does that work? Explain the contract with the citizens.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny and sad is the contract in this issue. Most of those points are already law, and she's just sort of reiterating. So the problem is not necessarily even that we have a lack of laws or clear expectations. We have had elected officials who have no regard for transparency or process. And so I consider the root of the problem to be probably the politicians themselves. And so it seems like we've made some really good strides there.
Yeah.
At the same time, on the campaign trail, I heard lots of complaints and things about the transparency and all the backroom dealing and stuff. And so I know that it is well known to the new commissioner, Ike Skelton, and already they've been making changes. They've been having public meetings and discussing things together, government issues, which you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Commissioners aren't supposed to talk about business behind closed doors, according to Missouri state law. And so, but when I was going to older commissioner meetings, what would happen? Folks would come in, the commissioners, with predetermined decisions, They clearly were having discussions behind closed doors because they knew what, they'd arrived at resolutions.
Yeah.
And what's supposed to happen is you have this open dialogue with your elected officials. It's all documented, publicly recorded, and then you go back and or you take public comment, you get the contracts and you hear the quotes, whatever. Then you go back, you think it through, go through your notes, have another meeting, have your discussions, make a decision. That never happened. You just come in there, contractors would come up and they say, can I have this money for this? And they go, okay, write, a blank check, and then there you go. And it's really irresponsible.
And as I understood, they only took one bid for the whole contracting thing? Is that?
The Vergy one, yeah. But that was normal. I all the time would see that where there'd just be one bid coming through and they would just say, oh, okay.
Say that's our only option, so that's what we're going with.
And what they would say is, oh, well, did we go through the formal process to make sure that this is, and
all
say,
in the
we
up
did.
and up?
Yeah, and what? But they wouldn't. It's like I'd never see a bid for where these jobs are. You have to know. You have to have connections to know where to look to see these bids.
Yeah.
And as a business, if I want to outsource something, I want it to be very visible, to have lots of bids, to have the best service.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they want the best service?
Yeah, you would think that they would want the best of the best, so they put it out there and be visible.
Right.
Well, Neal, I'm very excited about talking with you in the future about more of the Watchdog report and more of the things that are going on all around us, Camden County, Miller County, like these surrounding areas of the policies or some things that are happening in the political nature where we could be opened up to and learn a little bit more. So I'm glad that you have this knowledge to share with us. So thank you so much for coming on the show today, and definitely look forward to more here from Neal on the Happy Hour with DJ Kyle. And of course, where could we get this Watchdog report?
Yes, I've got quite a list here. Let me fire it off.
And this one is the January issue. It has the county commission contract with citizens. Also has some really great ways that you can get a hold of your commissioner as well, your local commissioner. So
right. So if you'd like to pick up a physical copy, The Office Neighborhood Pub, Natalie K. Salon, The Rusty Rooster, Fitz Tackle and Supplies, Stokes Dock Company, Shell's Pasta, Sunset Tire and Service, Lake Car Care, Parkway Plaza Tire Center, Cozy Cafe, Skelton Key and Lock, Bryan Auction, Beckett Motors, Firefly Valley Farms, Smokin' Jones Barbecue, J7 Market, Shoemaker Auto Repair, 7 Express and Climax Springs. Come on in, Cafe.
Wow. All in one breath. Neal, thank you so much for coming on the show. And that's it for us for our Happy Hour with DJ Kyle. We have furry friends coming up here in just a moment.